everybody, it's Renee here, just coming to you making a video. We are going to make a tag book, and we are going to use a whole bunch of different tags. These are all Dina Wakley media tags, but I'm going to show you roughly kind of an idea that we're going to do. In this segment, this is going to be a part one. We are making the backgrounds of them, and this will give you an idea of just some of what I've done before. These will not be part of the album because they're full, but this gives you an idea of some of the stuff that I was doing. I created all of the backgrounds first and then went in and did the rest of the tag. I finished it off with finishing touches, if you will. So this gives you an idea of some of the mixed media kind of things that we're going to come up with today. Whether it's adding some Collage Collective, whether it's adding bits and pieces of stamps or ephemera or whatever. Anything goes, and we're going to have some fun with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do this very fast. And like I said before, we are going to, I'm sure I'm not going to get all three of these in here on the feed, but I will show you anyway. I'm going to paint some of the paint on, and then I'm going to add some spray. So I'm going to start with this one. We are going to use the Paper Artsy Fresco Finish in Pine Grove. Give it a good shake, and away we go. I like mixing things up sometimes and doing a little bit of our, what do you call it? A little bit of the mixed media, kind of playing around. Kind of anything goes with these. I just want to get some background color on, and that's really it. I just don't want the whole whiteness of the tag. We're going to add other colors and things on. This is going to be, I guess, very abstract, if you will. Some of these I don't like to plan them out so much. I just like to go ahead and start creating. Whatever happens, happens, and sometimes it's a mess, and other times it's a happy surprise. So you can really do anything you want with this. For a lot of people who are very planned out, this might not be your thing, but it's cool when it's done. And I'm going to do one more since we have the ink. Yeah, this paint, love it. It's probably some of my favorite. It dries very fast. So when you work with it, just keep in mind that it does dry fast. That's probably good enough. I'm gonna move my palette over here. And now I'm going to use a few different colored sprays. I'm using my craft mat. I'm going to spray, and a lot of the times I'd use my spray box, but I'm not using right now, so I can just give you a little show, and we're going to see how this works. This is very similar to how I did the other ones I showed you. Just fold it up a little bit, give it a little spray. So we're going to let that one dry. And then this one, I'm going to just flip it over. You can see it's already dried. I'm going to use, well, most of it's dried. I'm going to use some of that leftover spray. Okay, and we'll use some more leftover spray on this one. There's not a lot left over, but there is some. There. So we're going to do another spray. Just very minor. All right, so we're going to grab another color, and that color, for those of you interested, was the Dina Wakley Gloss Spray Turquoise. So now I'm going to pick up a little bit darker color, and this one is the Dina Wakley Gloss Spray Ocean. Little spray. Some of these I just got new sprayers to spray with them. Oh, here we go. Just have to be persistent. Persistent, sometimes you just have to clean them out, right? Clean them out, make sure you shake them really well so the ball inside them can do its thing too, so it get all bunked up. Okay, so we got some of that on there, and I'm just going to pick up the remnants on here. There we go. And now I am going to use a different color. I'm going to use the olive. This is a really pretty color. Okay, move this one over here. This, because we have some left over here, I'm just going to pick it up on here. Same idea. Get as much as we can. Okay, so see, that got up quite a bit. And we'll do the same with our other tag. All right, so we got a little bit on that one as well. And I'm going to give it one other splash of color, but I'm not going to do all the tags. I'm going to do the ones that we don't have as much color on. And that would be this one, and maybe I'll do this one because we have a lot of our initial acrylic paint, our chalk paint on here. So these ones I'm going to pull aside. These ones I'm going to spray. I'm just going to keep them side by side with the lime. Cool stuff. All right, so we're going to let those dry, and then once those are dried completely, we will come back and we'll start adding things to it. So I went ahead and I made 3 more cards, so we have a total of 7, and while the other 3 dry, I've just flipped these over and we're going to start on the back side of these. So we grab our little palette. That's what I tend to use, is just my palette, and then I clean it off when I'm done. And I am using a few different colors, but I think I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to go a little bit darker. I really like the Paper Artsy paints, as I've mentioned before. I'm going to use this time Space Cadet. I am going to mix it up a little bit with a color I did on the other one that you wouldn't have seen, which was called Guacamole. So I'm going to go back and add a little bit of my guacamole on here. I know this looks really boring right now, and for many people kind of like half done, but you will see that it actually transforms into something quite amazing, I think. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of the guacamole. Just like saying that, guacamole. Okay, so we are going to add some more. I'm going to take some of this right off the edge. And add it like that, because this is our bottom layer. So we can put it on thick, we can do whatever we want with it, because it is going to be somewhat covered up. So I'll do these 4, and then I've got the other 3 to do, because they're drying right now. And it basically is the same type of color scheme we did before. And this one, we don't have much paint left, so I'm not going to add more. I'm just going to use up what I have. All right, so now we are going to go in and add the Space Cadet. So the Space Cadet, it's quite a bit darker. Just going to add it in certain areas. Just got to remember too, we're going to be covering some of this up with certain things, right? So you don't need it everywhere. It just depends. And I mean, really, with what you figure out you're going to use and the different things you're going to use, whether it's stamping or whatever, that's usually the tags I grab. So This does not have to be perfect by any stretch. So you perfect people out there, call this a challenge and just do whatever. This is my challenge to you. Come out of your box and just add some color. It's actually very liberating not to have something planned and just to go with the flow, my friends. There we go. So I'm going to put these ones aside. I'm going to let these babies dry. I'm going to just make this a little thinner so it'll dry faster. And we'll move these over. So the next ones, these are what I did on the last round that I did not show you. And they look like they're pretty much dry, so I'm going to flip. Flip, 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 flip. And we are going to add some Space Cadet to this. I need some more paint. Make sure you give it a good shake. And we'll go from there. You can make these as dark or as light as you want. Just take into account that if you're going to put any stamping on, if it's a darker paint, you may not see it, depending on what color ink you use. If you use a white ink, you should be able to. But yeah, I think this is probably the darkest I would go, is the Space Cadet. I really like the squid ink in this line too. It's probably one of my favorite colors, which, or sorry, not squid ink, Inky Pool. It's probably my favorite color. It's dark though, but it's a beautiful color. Okay, so we're adding just a little bit more. Hopefully you're liking this so far. Hopefully you're playing along. There's not a whole lot you need with this. Just some ink. If you're decorating or using any stamps down the road, some paint, a brush, and this, and some sprays. I have used before the Distress Oxide sprays, and they turn out really nice as well. This time I just thought I would try the glossies. So I am not going to add the paint, the other paint, to this one. I'm just going to spray these ones, and I can actually spray them now. And I think I might try a few different colors that we haven't tried yet. So I'm going to grab those right now. And the colors I grabbed are aloe, sand, white, and mineral. So we're going to play along with those and just change it up a little bit. So this one I've grabbed now is the sand. And it's kind of like a, I don't want to say a taupe because it's lighter than that, but it's a nice neutral color. The next color I'm going to add, sometimes you want to be careful because these can bleed into each other, but the next color is the aloe. These ones are very muted lines compared to the other ones we used. And then I'm going to do white. If it'll spray. These actually get plugged up very easy. It's the only thing I don't like about them. But anyways, you could take it apart like I'm doing and flick your, as Dina says, your pox, and just pox it. So that works as well. With some of mine I have to go through and change the lids of the tops because I do have replacements. I just gotta go and change them. So it's good to try and use these on a regular basis, so hopefully that does not happen. Now I am going to, just to speed up the process, I am going to dry this. So So with this, you may have noticed before I used my heat tool that they had kind of curled a little bit. As soon as you use your heat tool, they will flatten out, which is actually a nice thing to do too. So if you do have a heat gun, like an embossing gun, it's best to try and use it, because for us doing a little album with these, it will flatten out your papers. So that's not such a bad thing. So we're going to move these ones aside and let them dry. And bring these babies back. Got the 4. And again, go in and use our color. So with this one, I'm going to start with the one we didn't use before, the mineral. It's a nice, beautiful blue. Okay, and I'm actually going to dry that one now so you can see the difference drying them all together or drying them individually. So now I've dried those, I'm going to go on to our next color. Again, we're going to try the aloe. And these are nice muted shades. And next I am going to do the sand. And with the white, we're going to spray the pox like we did before. I'm just going to do a little bit, not a lot, because I also tend to use this once we totally adorn it with our embellishments and stamping and everything as well, so I don't want to overdo it. Okay, so that is done. Now I'm going to dry it again. So there we have it. Those are our dried cards. This one is still a little bit curled, so I'm going to wait on that one and try and flatten it out, because that can happen. And the rest of them we are going to put aside and come up with some of our embellishments we're going to use. So that is our next step. So now we have all of our tags ready. It's time to embellish them. And how I'm going to do that first is we are going to actually assemble our album. So you don't have to put them in exactly the order you want them in right now, but we're going to line them all up. And you could do a tag album this way, or you can flip it. You can use it that way. You can bind it here. There's many different things you could do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to fold it in half. So what that means is you need to fold all of your cards in half. You could use your scoring tool, but with this I'm not going to. I'm just going to do it like so and just fold it. And you will notice, because we used gloss spray, it's going to have some resistance because of the gloss. So we can work with that later. Yeah, just find which side you want to be your front or your back, and you can do it that way. And again, you can keep it straight up and down because of the way you may have stamped. I didn't care how I stamped, I just wanted a background. So you can keep that in mind as well when you're doing this. And I'm going to do this and speed up the process. So now we've done that part. What you can also do, and I might do as well, is add some other sheets into this. And what I mean by that is I was also going to layer this, probably every other one, or maybe just a few, of with some acetate. So I'm going to put some acetate in here with a design. So I will do that after we do our adding on of our beautiful different add-ons and embellishments and our ephemera. But so now we've got our book laid out. the next thing I'm going to do is take this apart, and I am going to trim off the tabs, which is very easy. You just line it up with your other ones. Very simple to do. You could leave them if you wanted to. You don't have to cut them off. I just want it to look kind of the same, essentially. But again, it's all personal preference. Again, very simple. Just line it up with where the other cutoff is and cut it off. Almost done. So I'd love to know how many of you actually have created this, are going to create it, or are doing it at the same time. So I'd love to have some comments from you and find out if this is something you've done. And love to see some of your featured artwork too. Like if you've done this, shoot me a picture of what it turned out like. I would love to see it. You can send me that at createandplaywithrenee@gmail.com. So I'm going to take off the top one first because that is going to be probably our cover. Actually, you know what? I like this one for a cover. So I'm going to leave that one for the cover. I'm going to put that one in here. And this is where we start putting different embellishments and things on here. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to mention this right off the get-go, I'm trying not to cover the holes so much because I might make a hole in the other side with our crocodile, and we can tie this. So we might have a tieable book. So if that's something you want to do as well, it's probably best not to cover the hole. So be aware of that. I like to go off the edges with my different embellishments and I staple them. So you can, if you wanted to, you could use adhesive. I don't with my creations like this. I usually use a staple gun. And let's see, what are some other things we can add on here? There's so many things you could do, and I might from time to time come up with something else. There, this is good enough for me on this one. And then you can add a picture if you wanted to, or just leave it. There. So see, be enough. And then on this side, you can put whatever you want as well. I'm right now focusing just on the right-hand side of our book. Okay, so there's one down. And again, you can assemble it however you want later. You can cover up as much as you want or leave it alone. It's totally up to you. I'm going to put my Nick Rhodes inspiration on this page. And again, you can come back and add more things as well, like words, letters, whatever you might have. I'm just doing our first layer now. I really like this. I might come back and put a word on there. I have so much paper ephemera, we can add that as well. But this is layer 1. See? There's no real right or wrong to this. Again, being aware that there could be a hole there, and I'm okay with it going through. But you wouldn't want to put a staple through there, so be aware of where you do that. And then I'm going to put our little bee boy right here. I just love that stamp. It's so awesome. Look at the bee boy. Too funny. I have some very funny stamps. I might add those onto here too, but I have to put them on cardstock as first. So I'm going to put this here, and I am going to do some doodling on this as well. So I'm keeping that in mind as well, so I don't have too much on initially. And I like to do my doodling with Posca pens. So, sorry, I'm trying not to say so. I find I say that an awful lot, but force of habit, I guess. Anyway, don't really like that on that one. I'm okay with pushing a hole through this, and I'm going to cut off the end on this one. Yeah. So I'm going to put that there. And again, I'm going to add something onto that one. So this is just layer 1. So I'm going to go back into my, sorry, my chair is very squeaky like. I'm going to go back in here and try and get some artwork that I might like to pop on here. And this is a great one because you can take this apart. There's a lot of really neat artwork in here. And I just want to have something kind of generic. So I like to put my own touches on it. So sometimes I don't necessarily like to have a full out face. Sometimes I do. But I like to draw my own sometimes. It just depends. Anything really goes, right? So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to put this here because I'm going to put something else over there eventually. Okay, so that one is done for now. I am going to add some of my tags I've already created onto this one. Just because I think they're funny and they're cool. And these are ones I made previously. That one, and I'm going to add this one here. Maybe I'll add her here. Bearing in mind that there will be a hole going in right about there. So that's why I chose that one, because she's not sitting there. Alright, so we will put that there. I'm going to come up with something on that side. And that's it for my little tags that I had created. Ooh, I like this. This is completely different out of our color that we've used previously. But I'm okay with that, because different is good. Alright, and we need to come up with one here. For some of you, I know this might be a lot and very busy, but others of you are probably digging this, and that's okay too. Everybody doesn't like every piece of art. That's just the way things are. And that is totally understandable. Not everybody likes the same stuff. Alright, I am going to put this one on here. It's going to take up a lot more space, a lot more real estate, but I'm okay with that. Oh, come on. Take out that staple. Have malfunctions every once in a while. And it happens. Okay. Might be back in business. Got that fixed. Okay. And we need just a couple more. I'm going to hold off on the cover one, so we need 3 more. And that should be easy enough to find. I'm just going to pull again from Dina's awesomeness, and we'll go from there. Ooh, I like that. Rippin'. Rippin' is our friend. Okay, so with this one, completely different colors. Oh, I see, yep, different. Disregard. We only need 1 more. I'm gonna make this smaller. Actually, I kind of like that. And I'm going to do it this way too. Dum-ba-dum. There we go. Alright, so there's it for our book for now, and we are going to start doing some other stuff with it. So here's our little album. I have actually tied off the edges, and I will show you how I did this. I'm not done it yet. We're going to create some more goodness with it. So I just used these. I kind of turned off those, I just tied it. I made another hole with my crocodile in the back so it can tie up. With this, I actually stapled like that. Stapled this out. Pulled it out all the way, stapled it, and then I wrapped that around and the inside. I've also added some washi tape to our pages. So on many of the pages that we had on our left hand side that we didn't have anything, I put washi. And with a lot of these, you can put pictures, you can add whatever. I left mine pretty plain, to be honest, so I could add whatever I wanted to, whether it was more washi pictures, more designs. You could do whatever you wanted to, whether it's adding paper ephemera, stamps, pictures. You could even add little blocks here where you can journal on. So this is totally something you can make yourself and create it however you want to, and add your own thing. Like, you could turn it into something themed. It's a great little gift to give to somebody. One thing I was going to do, or I thought about, is possibly putting, I'm not going to do it right this minute, but like a little title here with some little stamps, some letter stamps. So put something like that here and then just call it a day, and that's kind of it. So this is the little album I made. I hope you liked this. It's very simple to do, and again, this was just using the large Dina Wakley tags. And yeah, you could really make whatever you wanted to. It doesn't have to be this shabby. You can make something very, very thought out, linear, planned, just using the tags itself. But I wanted to have like more of a shabby vibe to this one. So that is our little mini tag album. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button. And tell all your crafty friends if this is something they might like. And check out my Facebook and my Instagram pages as well. I hope you enjoyed my creations, and we will chat with you soon.